Hello students, today's class is about the fundamental duties. How many fundamental duties are enshrined in our constitution through which Constitutional Amendment Act it came into force. All the things we will discuss in a detailed way, and one thing we will keep in our mind that the information which is given here is very important from your examination point of view. So, without any delay, we will start fundamental duties. Fundamental duties actually got incorporated on the recommendation of Swarn Singh Committee in 1976. Here you can see in 1976, under the Congress Party rule, the Swarn Singh Committee was set up and which recommended that fundamentals should be included in our constitution. On this recommendation, though Swarn Singh Committee have recommended 8 fundamental duties only, but we incorporated 10 fundamental duties in our constitution through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976. And this Constitutional Amendment Act, 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, created Part 4A and included Article 15(1)(a). I think it is clear right now. And from where do we borrowed the fundamental duties? That country was USSR. As we know that it got disintegrated in 1991 in many countries, right? One thing very important here we have to notice is that the fundamental duties are available only to the citizens, not to the foreigners. Second thing is that fundamental duties are non-justiciable, and second thing is it is non-enforceable. It is directly non-enforceable. That is why it is written here. Though indirectly it is enforceable, some of the fundamental duties are enforceable, right? Currently it is not enforceable, but Parliament is free to enforce them by suitable legislation. If Parliament feels that it is required that fundamental duties should be enforceable in the court of the law, so they can do so by appropriate suitable legislation, right? So keep in the mind. How many fundamental duties are there? There is 11 fundamental duties currently. I have told you 10, then how it become 11? I will give the information about this. Originally there was no fundamental duties, right? Through 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1976, 10 fundamental duties incorporated in our constitution under Article 15(1)(a) and Part 4A, right? Later, through 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002, one more fundamental duties has been included. That is why it became 11 fundamental duties. I will give this information in later. Okay. So, fundamental duties are available to every citizen of India. It's a duty of the citizen so that they can follow it. First fundamental duty says that to abide by the constitution and respect its ideal and institution, the national flag and national anthem. It means we have to abide by the constitution. Here one thing very important to give is that those which is written in the red color, that is very important, they are indirectly enforceable. I told you earlier, right? So you keep in this mind. So number 1, to abide by the constitution and respect the ideals of the institution. There are a lot of the institutions, right? Like Parliament, like EC, Election Commission of India. There are many constitutional and non-constitutional institutes which we have to respect. We have to respect the national flag. We have to respect the national anthem. If we are not respecting and we are using derogatory words, we are violating the norms which is set up by the Parliament, then you will be liable for the punishable offence. Here one act has been enacted by the Parliament, Flag Code 2002. If you are disrespecting the national flag, then you will be booked under the Flag Code Act 2002, right? If you are not following the constitutional and you are disrespecting like the judiciary, the Election Commission of India, there are many constitutional institutions, then you will be liable to punishable. Okay, so you have to keep in your mind these things. Next fundamental duty is to cherish and follow the noble ideals which inspired our national struggle for freedom. I hope you understand it. Let's move to another one. C. To uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. If you are not upholding the sovereignty and unity and integrity of India, you are doing any violence, you are doing punishable offense, then you will be booked under it. There is a UAPA Act, right? Unlawful Activity Prevention Act, which says that if you are distorting the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India, you will be put behind the bar. So keep in the mind. Next, to defend the country and render national service when called upon to do so. When there is a requirement of national service, you have to render it. It's your obligation as an individual obligation to go there and render the service. Like in the corona period, many front position has been taken by the doctors, like police officers, many law enforcement agencies. So they have come in front and they have rendered the service. This was the obligation on the individual, right? So if there is a desire in future that they will call you to render the service, then you have to go, and individually you should go. Next, to promote harmony and the spirit of common brotherhood. Keep in this mind, among all the people of India, transcending what? Religious, linguistic, and regional or sectional diversity. This concept says that secularity should be maintained. As we know, the Supreme Court has been pronounced that secularity is the part of the basic structure of the Constitution. So we have to maintain it. We have to respect every religion, every linguistic diversity, religion, region, everything. You cannot say any person, hey Bihari, and other community, you are using a derogatory word against them. So you cannot do so. And the most important thing here is that we have to renounce the practices of derogatory to dignity of the women. Many have said a bad thing to women without realizing that they are committing offense. They are using they are distorting the dignity of the women. So we have to keep in mind that we should not, we have to renounce the practices derogatory to dignity of the woman, right? To value and preserve the rich heritage of our composite culture. We have a lot of the diversity and we have the concept unity in the diversity. So we have to preserve the rich heritage, right? We have linguistic heritage, we have cultural heritage, a lot of the heritage is there, so we have to preserve each, right? Next is to protect and improve the natural environment, including forest, lake, river, and wildlife, and to have compassion for the living creature. Why they are saying it is just because in our Constitution they have mentioned that we have to have a compassion for the living creature. We should not destroy the environment. After all, we were the sufferer. We are creating an environment in which we cannot live. Many diverse creatures got destroyed. They have got extinct. Every day 15 diverse creatures are getting extinct. So we have to keep in our mind so that we can preserve. And if you are not preserving and you are destroying, then there is an act like Wildlife Protection Act 1972, right? Second act is Environment Protection Act 1986, Forest Act, Water Act, many more. So you cannot do directly, it is enforceable if we are doing anything wrong. Next is to develop a scientific temper, humanism, and spirit of inquiry and reform. We have to develop a scientific temperament so that we can analyze and distinguish the knowledge which is given or mixed with the truth. So we have the wisdom so that we can analyze the wrong information with the right one, right? We have to develop a scientific temperament. Suppose if anybody is spreading the knowledge that cow dung contains the radioactive substances, then you should have a knowledge so that you can critically analyze. You have a scientific temperament that whether it is right or not, right? So, and if that is right or that is wrong, then we have the acceptance to reform that and accept that. Next fundamental duty is to safeguard and public property and to abjure the violence. We have the public property like railway, airports, ports, nuclear power plants. There are many buses, many public property. So we should not destroy them because it is our own property. And we have to abjure ourselves from the violence. We should not fight on the basis of the religion, caste, sex, place of birth and all. So it is our responsibility to safeguard the public property and to absorb or to abjure the violence. Next fundamental duty is to strive towards the excellence in all spheres of the individual and collective activity, so that the nation constantly rises to higher level of endeavor and to achieve. I so hope you understand it. I need not to explain it. I have to explain this one. This is very important. 86 Constitutional Amendment Act 2002 added one more fundamental duties, right? And at that time, after that, a Right to Education Act has been brought in 2009, which made compulsion on the parents, not exactly parents, it is a compulsion of the state so that they can provide the elementary education to the children who are in the age group of 6 to 14 years. Here also, it is the duty of parents and guardians to provide opportunity for education to the child between the age group of the 6 to 14 years, so that they can have access of the education, so that they can rise up in the upcoming future, right? Few important things which we have to understand. Fundamental duties are a communist, or we can say it is a socialist countries concept. No Western countries have a fundamental duties, and no developing countries as well. I think developing countries is wrong to say, but one exception is that democratic country, right? One exception is Japan. Japan is the only country which have included the fundamental duties in their own constitutions. Fundamental duties are non-justiciable, as I have told you. It is only the reminder to the citizen that you have to follow. Second thing, it is amendable, as I have told you that 86 through the 86th Constitutional Amendment Act 2002, they have added 11 fundamental duties. Fundamental duties are incorporated in our constitution to strengthen the democracy, right? Last thing is that the criticism. What are the criticism? Criticism is that the fundamental duties are not included the casting to vote, right? If anyone want to cast vote, they can do. If they don't want, they cannot do. They will not do. So it should be compulsion on the citizens so that they can vote their right, so that they can have choose their representative. Paying tax is not included. Family planning also not included. Though paying tax was recommended by the Swansea committee, but it was not included. You have to keep in mind from the means perspective. Many a time they have asked this question. So critically analyze and all. Most important thing is that no penalty or punishment for non-performance of the fundamental duties. If you are not following, then you will be not liable for the punishable offence. There is no penalty as such. But I have told you that it is indirectly enforceable. Like if you are not protecting the environment, you are polluting, then you will be liable for the punishable offence. So all these things I have mentioned here. I hope you understand this topic.